very first thing I want to say is shout out to the BLS backup. That brother right there, he was like, Dr. Ray, I love your YouTube channel. He happened to be my partner helping this little kid out. He did a great job, and I love to see his patient advocacy, his empathy, and the hard work that he put in prior to our arrival. But long story short, this child, man, I don't want to give too much details because of HIPAA violations and etc. But it's a possible heroin opioid overdose, pinpoint pupils, cyanosis, respiratory failure leading into respiratory arrest, pediatric patient, less than 40 pounds. You can figure out the age more or less with the information I just gave you. And the reason why I bring this up is there's something very clear that I want to portray on this message, on this video. And it's my experience with pediatric emergencies. It's my experience with pediatric jobs that stay in your brain forever. I've dealt with cardiac arrest in the pre-hospital care setting. I've dealt with cardiac arrest in the hospital setting while becoming a doctor. Intubated so many kids, I have no idea how many times I've intubated a child before. I mentioned it before. I participated in the amputation of a little kid's arms. I helped with first, second, third degree burns on childs, drowned victims, and etc. The reason why I bring this up is this, man. There's a common variable in every single pediatric emergency that I ever witnessed, and it's that every last one of them were avoidable, if not the majority of them. Why? Because if you burn a victim, or if the victim is burned, if the victim needs an amputation from flying a kite that got caught in electrical wires, if the hot soup fell on the baby, if all these things happen, it's usually because of a lack of attentiveness on the parent or the guardian's case. Same thing with this patient we just had. How the fuck can a child who's less than 40 pounds possibly overdose on heroin or opioid and have pinpoint pupil, cyanosis, and all the telltale symptoms that we see in patients who are suffering from this disease of addiction? It's because they weren't attentive. So what does this have to do with you? I'm gonna tell you a story. One of the best vacations of my life were recently to the Dominican Republic. Like 2 years ago, a year ago, I was in an all-inclusive resort having the time of my life, sober as fuck. Very, very sober. Not like my gluttonous, stupid-ass version of myself from in the past, where when I used to be in an all-inclusive resort in the Dominican Republic, I always wanted to get my money's worth, and I would overdrink, overeat, oversleep, and overindulge on sex. But on this particular vacation, I was with my kids, I was with my wife, and I noticed that after doing 100 push-ups by the pool, my son, Xavier, the youngest one, was walking in the deep end. I kept my eyes on him. I told him, hey, be careful. I was sober, I was attentive, I was alert. My sympathetic nervous system was up to par, and I was leveraging the mind-body connection. And as soon as he fell in the pool, even though I told him to get away from there, I was able to swim towards him. I jumped in the pool, swim towards him, and prevented him from drowning. I prevented him from having an aspiration pneumonia. And that's the last thing you want in any country, especially in the Dominican Republic. And why do I bring this up? I saved my son's life. Why? Because I was attentive. Why? Because I was able to be alert. Because I was sober. Because I wasn't smoking. When I used to do vape, I used to go hide so my kids won't see me. It used to fuck up my lungs, and my lung capacity was no good when I used to do martial arts. And it wouldn't have been good enough, because even a split second later, if water goes into my son's lungs and he would have drowned, I wouldn't be the man who's in front of this camera right now. I would have been a totally different person. I don't know who I would become if something ever were to happen to any one of my kids. Thank God they did it. Why? Because for me to help them, I had to first be able to help myself. I said it before, I'll say it again. For you to be able to help anybody, any type of emergency, you must first be able to help yourself. And what does that look like? Be physically able to, be mentally sharp enough, avoid the avoidable. There's outlier emergencies with kids who have congenital diseases, who unfortunately were diagnosed with cancer and things along those lines. I'm not speaking about those issues. I'm speaking about those issues of parents who didn't take the necessary precaution to take care of their kids. I'm talking about those issues of parents who could have done better, but they were too busy intoxicated. They were too busy having a drug issue. They were too busy being depressed and thinking about themselves. And I got a message for all parents and all people who eventually want to be parents. I got 3 kids, bro. Listen to me. Fuck you. It's not about you no more. Fuck you. Fuck your feelings. Fuck your pleasure. And fuck everything that you ever wanted. Make it about them. Disregard yourself and focus on them. Of course, be selfish. Be selfish in the sense of wanting to improve yourself. Be selfish in the sense of wanting to better yourself. Prioritize yourself. But at the end of the day, part of loving them is prioritizing yourself. It's being selfless and making it about them. But don't be stupid. Oh, I'm making it about them, so I'm gonna work my ass off and not have time to take care of myself. This is not the time I'm talking. This is not the type of selflessness I'm talking about. Because for you to be able to help them, you gotta at least be able to run down the block. Can you do 1 pull-up, you titty having motherfucker, 38 waist having motherfucker? How many pull-ups can you do, bro? Can you do 50 push-ups straight? No? Then get to work. If you drink, you go to sleep drinking, your inhibition is decreased. So you may just eat French fries and food that makes you fatter. You may just spend money on shit you weren't supposed to. And you may end up having sex with a bitch who's a 3 out of a scale of 1 to 10. Disgusting motherfuckers. Listen, man. At the end of the day, the message is this, bro. Get your shit together, bro. What you have is what you can handle. And what you don't have yet is what you can't handle. So handle what's in front of you. If you want more blessings, if you want more responsibilities, then understand that you need to take care of the responsibilities you have right now. And I'm feeling myself right now. I'm a little bit upset from seeing what I saw with this patient. I just want to say, man, last but not least, when a man is right, his world will be right. My mentor said it. I'm sharing it with you. That little kid should have never ever had to deal with being administered Narcan. Should have never had to receive a notification to go to the hospital. Should have never ever be a candidate for intubation. It was all avoidable. Just like the majority of other pediatric emergencies. I hope this helps. Peace.